I do want to assure you that we keep trying to strive to exceed your expectations, and I think Flow Connect will just do that. Today, we sit at over 150,000 users on Novacura. Before we look towards the future, it's important to take a stroll down memory lane. So I don't know how many of you are here in 2009, but this was our first release of Novacura. Novacura Flow 4, I believe it was at the time. You could see up from the screen it was ran off Windows client. And then in 2011, we actually brought our first designer into play. No longer were you writing flows in XML. Instead, you were actually developing them inside of a designer. In 2012, we did our first Android client. And then also in 2013, we started to bring all this together. So we took the Android client, put the studio, wrapped it into what we called Flow 5. I hope no customers in here are still running on this one, but we do have some customers that still run Flow 5. In 2015, we released our first Portal edition, which is a web-based application for development. And then in 2016, we brought Flow 6. 2020 was our first Portal 2 edition. And in 2024, we'll announce Flow Connect. Often when you do presentations on new products, it's good to answer the 5 W's. You know, I like to look at why Flow Connect, and it's many different reasons. Part of it is that there's a shift happening, as Johan mentioned, in cloud, and it's actually just not a shift. It's acceleration within this group. People are adopting cloud more now than ever, and it's continuing to grow. I think when you talk about the digital era, accepting these new trends, it's not just actually an option anymore, it's really a necessity. Adopting to new technologies and shifting your business. But we also at Novacura, because we're not just a platform in itself, we also work with you to implement ERP systems. We recognize that this shift to cloud is a daunting one. It is not easy to shift business systems like your ERP and even other business systems like CRM to go to cloud. But we also believe that the change is pretty inevitable. For us at Novacura, we are dedicated to keeping pace with this shift. We are committed to making sure that the power of the cloud is used to provide you with some efficient and cost-effective ways of managing your solutions. And I think if you look at it the other way in and you start to talk about customers and what do I benefit from the cloud, there's a lot of opportunity here. You know, the future of Flow is intrinsically tied to cloud. I think embracing this shift is just going to help unlock new levels of efficiency, agility, and also scalability. The key components I like to think of when I talk about value to customers in regards to cloud is accessibility. When you think of Flow, particularly in a mobile application, you want all of your users to be able to log in wherever they are, whenever they are, and be able to go and execute a flow. The cloud does just that through accessibility. Seamless integration between systems, making sure that you're able to connect into your applications, not just connect as you may today, but connect securely and ultimately scalably. There are enhanced security measures, which is, you know, I think when I talk to customers, this is the one they get most skeptical about. If you think of the products that get continual updates over time, I just mentioned not but a second ago, some customers are still running on Flow 5. As security patches come out, cloud is ultimately ever adopting that. You are staying on the evergreen model. It is a more secure option than your on-premise communication capabilities today. We also provide scalability on demand. So we do have cloud offerings today. We are able to host Flow 6 in the cloud. If you don't know that, it is not scalable on demand. And scalable on demand in the cloud typically refers to what we have called as microservices. And the benefit here is that as you draw demand on cloud, we're able to scale up our services to ensure that we are never a bottleneck moving forward. And that is a huge benefit when you think about Flow 6's architecture today, which is limited in hardware and software limitations. And Johan mentioned it, but collaboration is key. Today, I'm sure we've all dealt with the process of reporting a bug on Flow when we go back and forth. What version are you on? Can I see your flow? Are you able to pass that case to us? Can you give us an example, or can you give us the email attachment? Can I run your flow? Can you put me on your server? We got to get your VPN connection going, right? All of this happens today, but we want it to be seamless in the future. We want to be able to quickly collaborate with you, solve issues that you're having, and be able to fix them and get you on your way. This is a huge benefit that you get with cloud. And last but not least is the time to value. For Flow Connect particularly, we are looking to increase our customers' capability of both developing and deploying applications more seamlessly. In turn, what you get is a better solution quicker. This you'll see when I go through the demo, particularly in the developer role. So as you're walking through Flow, you'll note that we've made a lot of changes in the platform that benefit the developer. And the hope is, again, to integrate innovation into this and allow you to build new solutions in a quicker manner. What better way to see it than to actually see it in action? So I have a little demo here. This is what we call Novacura Flow Hub. It replaces most of the studio today for the designers. This is where a user will come in and do their administration of the system. And it starts with a centralized SSO, a single sign-on process. It goes through Microsoft, and because I've already been logged in through Microsoft, my token is cached and I'm immediately in the system. I'm able to flip between organizations. And the benefit here is that if you are a partner or even a customer that have multiple organizations and split your apps across those orgs, you'll note that there's no longer flipping between environments in Studio. Instead, I can live in the hub here at all times and just quickly switch between an organization. I can also get a good look at my user. Oh, thank you. I am showing. Wow. Let's see if we can fix that. Yeah, thank you very much. Maybe we should start over. Better. All right, so we can quickly log in through SSO, and because I'm already logged in, it's immediately going to bring me into Hub. And unlike doing the multiple environments in Studio, I can quickly switch between organizations here. This can be done by just, with a few clicks of a button, I can ultimately go to another organization, which is our labs department in Novacura. From here, I can get a look at all the users that exist within this organization. By clicking the user list, I can quickly see a list of users, their statuses, if they're pending to get into the organization. So we think about ways to collaborate and communicate. This is the first way. We also allow people to quickly invite via email into this process. So here I'm inviting Greg into my organization, and I'll pick a group, which I'll talk about here in a second. Here I'm going to pick the organization owners and quickly send off an invitation. So groups are our ways to define access into the system. You'll probably go to a demo here from Andreas, and he'll go into a little bit more detail on each of these topics. But groups is like roles in our system, if you're familiar with it. So in groups, I can create either admin or end user groups. An end user group would be a group of users who would execute the application in the field. An admin group would be those who are logging into the hub doing exactly what I'm showing right here. If I pick an end user group, it's as quick as naming the group and adding the users I want associated with this group. It allows for a more streamlined use of user permissioning. I'll select Paul Phillips from the list, and I'll go ahead and save this group. Then I'm going to go create an application. Apps are inevitably workflows in our system, and we're grouping these into app packages. So what you see right here is a package of applications that will dive into individual apps, which in Flow 6 terms are workflows. So I can create an application, and from here I can actually edit the application. I can edit the application. And what we have here is Studio. So it's the same Studio you know and love. We have it built in so that it would automatically open. It is the only piece of our application today that isn't web-based any longer. It is going to be a thick client that gets installed on your computer. Here you can actually save your application at any point without committing it. And from there, you can actually run Test Bench. And we've made significant changes to Test Bench now. Test Bench actually runs in a web application, which means you'll get the same look and feel of your app while being able to search for all your variables through the process. So for those who maybe do this development yourself, you think of things like Test Bench not being able to run seeded workflows, right? That becomes a non-limitation now that we move it to a web client. And I can execute this app as if I was executing it on a web client without the Test Bench included. And I can click on a list selection and quickly search for a variable on this step. Here I'll search for all location variables. My list will be filtered. I can also do sorting on here. I can make changes, and I can toggle off the Test Bench at any point if I want. Once I'm happy with it, I'm able to go ahead and get out of here and commit those changes. Once I commit, I'm going to go ahead and document any text that I have, say it's ready for release. One new change that'll come here that Andreas will speak about a little bit more is that we also automatically pull the latest committed components, which are fragments. So this streamlines our capabilities of being able to quickly deploy without having you to go tell us exactly which fragment version you want to use throughout your flow. We take the latest and greatest. And the last step here is going to deploy that application. So deployment is our way of subscribing in Flow 6. We're able to quickly take an app across environments for an individual organization. What this means is I can take that move inventory app that I just committed, and I can deploy it to a test instance. From here, I'll select the version of the application that I want to deploy and just quickly deploy that into the environment. Now from this overview, I can see in my test installation, I have version 4 of the Move Inventory application. And maybe I want to share this across with users. So now I need to add some end users to it. I can quickly grant access to my application by going to the end user groups, which are those in the field, and selecting which environment I want to give those users access to. So I'm going to say test here for my warehouse group. Once I save that, these users are able to go execute this application in the field. And let's show a little bit of what that looks like. The only other difference here is that connectors are also managed across environments in the hub. What this means is that I can add a new connector, and when I do that, instead of configuring those connectors across different Studio installations, it's now done all inside of the hub through tabs. So my development connector here, my development environment for this connector has its own configuration, which is maybe the same or different of a test environment. So easy configuration to be able to edit and update your connectors and make sure that you don't have to log in 5 different times to your 5 different servers to update these entries. It's all in one spot. So let's go ahead and maybe show one more quick slide. I know I'm running on time. So let's show the web client. So now that I've gone ahead and developed my app and published it, shared it, I'm able to go ahead and log into the web client. The same login process that you saw before in the hub exists here. A user is a user across all installations, right? I will always log in as paul.phillips@novacura.com if you want me to come and help you at your organization, or if we want to help our own selves in Novacura. From here, I can select an organization. What is an important piece of note is that I have access to multiple organizations as a user, but most users will only have access to one organization and one environment. So this step is ultimately skipped for most users. And here I'll have to select the environment I want to go into, which is the test environment where I just deployed that application. Most users will land directly on a screen like this. From this step, I can go ahead and start executing the application that I just shared. I'm going to go ahead and move inventory as I would in a mobile app. Picking from list selections, ultimately selecting values. I can enter the quantity I want to move and then just go ahead and hit next. Pick a location to move it to. Move the inventory and save the record. This should be the same client you all know and love. This is the web version of it inside of Connect. Last but not least, I can go ahead and change environments at any point. I can switch environments back to dev if I am a developer and need to do some additional testing, or I can switch my organization. Let's say you call me up and you want to know how to put AI into an application. I can show you quickly by being able to switch into your organization and making some adjustments to your apps. And as always, we can log out as well. So let's go ahead and show my presentation one more time. All right, I also want to use this opportunity to tell you that we can also meet the product management team. So all of what's been delivered has been done by product management and the developers today. If you've seen something in here that piques your interest, or seen something that you might want to see changed, or have some use cases that we may want to know about, great opportunity to meet all the product owners who have been able to move this application forward to what you're seeing today. Malin will be doing a presentation on Portal 2. You'll have integration engine, which will be done by Krona. You'll be able to meet UX at a coffee break today. So please spend some time out there with them. Tell them what you think of the new web client, what the look is, and if you have any feedback. And I often say at the end, I've answered a few of the W's, but one big one that I haven't is when. I said 2024 today. Please, if you get an opportunity, come to the Future of Flow tomorrow, and we'll go through the roadmap and when we will be releasing the product. If you haven't heard the news as well, we've just released ideas.novacura.com. This is our feature request platform. We really do believe the best way to innovate is to listen to you as the users and customers. Hearing from you and your feedback usually is what prioritizes our roadmap. And this new platform has over 179 ideas in it already, some of which we've been executing on. So if you haven't seen this platform and you want to learn more about it, please come find me out in the hall. I'll be glad to talk you through it. We'll make sure you log in and you can put your ideas on how we can better our platform in the future. Thank you very much.